Welcome back, 8:45. Now, this was the scene Wednesday as crews found a 21-foot female orca dead on the shores of Flagler County. Marine biologists with SeaWorld and FWC are still working to find out what happened. It's, as you probably know, very uncommon, right, to see a killer whale, first of all, this far south. And then we found out that this has actually never happened in recorded history, that we have awareness of a killer whale washing up on a southern shore, trying to figure out why she was separated from her pod. And joining us this morning to talk more about it is Dr. Erin Fougeres with NOAA. Great to talk to you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So this is obviously something that we are not accustomed to. I have friends who work at SeaWorld who were just shocked by the sight of this, seeing an orca on our shores washed up like that. What do we think might be going on?
Well, it is the first time that we've ever recorded having a killer whale strand in the southeastern U.S., which ranges from North Carolina through Texas and includes Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So it was a bit of a surprise, but we do know that we do have killer whales in those waters. So we do know that we have a stock of killer whales in the Gulf of Mexico, which numbers about 267 individuals. And we do have a stock in the western North Atlantic, although they are considered rare. And so we don't regularly see them in the western North Atlantic, although they do range widely in the broader Atlantic. So it was unusual to see it, but it's not entirely unexpected given that they're out there, and we are investigating why this particular animal might have stranded.
Well, and unusual too, because normally we're accustomed to seeing them in pods. They're very social animals. So when a killer whale gets sick, do they tend to sort of go off on their own?
We do tend to see even social animals strand singly when they become sick or injured. So it's not entirely unusual to see a large whale like a sperm whale that's also very social, or a killer whale strand alone on the beach.
As far as, you know, what happens with killer whales, you know, the types of things that make them sick, what do we know about that?
So there's a number of threats for killer whales. It includes, it could include contaminants. It could include, there's anthropogenic noise, which is a threat. There's fishing gear entanglement, although that doesn't appear to be involved in this case. On the western coast of the U.S., there's some prey shortages, like the salmon that they primarily feed on. But for this particular individual, you know, there's also natural diseases and things like that. And that's what we're really trying to get at with the necropsy that was conducted yesterday and late into the night with our multi-agency team of stranding network partners. So we're really trying to determine what may have caused this particular individual to strand.
Doctor, I can only imagine what type of task that is for a team of veterinarians to do a necropsy on something so large. How does that work? Do you bring the animal to a warehouse, and how is something like that conducted?
Yeah, so it was a large response effort by a number of different partners in the Southeast Stranding Network, including Hub SeaWorld Research Institute, the county, the fire department, SeaWorld, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and a number of partners. And so we did transport this particular whale off the beach and back to SeaWorld. We were fortunate that they had a lab large enough to hold this whale, and we could do the necropsy in a controlled setting. And there were a number of people there, veterinarians, pathologists, trained biologists, different sampling teams who worked late into the night to do the necropsy or animal autopsy on this individual. It's incredible work that you do. Will you have to send things away to labs and wait for results? How long do you anticipate before you know more? Sure. So in the necropsy that occurred last night, you can see grossly if there's anything wrong with individual organ systems or things like that. But ultimately, you need to take tissue samples and send those out to a lab for analysis to determine what may have actually caused illness and death. So a whole suite of tissue samples were collected last night from the animal, and those will be sent out to labs in the coming days and weeks. And analyses can take weeks to months to come back, depending on the different type of analysis, but to have a final necropsy report. So that's really what we're waiting for. I got to say, I think we were all fascinated to hear that NOAA does this type of work. I don't think a lot of us even realize that NOAA takes part in things like this. Yeah, so NOAA Fisheries is in charge of implementing the Marine Mammal Protection Act, which includes our Marine Mammal Stranding Network, and we coordinate volunteer organizations and authorized volunteer organizations across the country to respond to strandings. Well, we certainly appreciate what you do, and it was beautiful to see everybody coming together yesterday to try to help this animal and hopefully find out what killed her. But it was a sad scene, so thank you so much, Dr. Erin Fougeres. I'm sure it was not easy for any of you. Thank you so much. It was challenging, but a very, very interesting case. Thank you.
Well, we